I'm working on getting a second door. I'm working on it, but it's not that easy. Especially when you don't have sugar daddies or men who are fucking supplementing your income with fucking allowances when you're a self-made motherfucking woman.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Elevation here with another episode of the JBP Elevated, where we speak on the Joe Budden podcast and all of his co-hosts on and off the pod. Who the heck is Melyssa Ford shooting at? And the better question is, why is she shooting at this person or people? I just saw the recent episode of Pod Wives, and we're seeing 2 out of the 3 wives, quote unquote, on that show not having to provide for themselves. They have AKA sugar daddies. They're men. That's hate. But why is she shooting shots in Sade's direction? Why is she shooting shots in Julia's direction? I don't know. You know what the cold part is? I think Melyssa would make a great addition on that show. Whether it be the moderator or whoever she's dating at the time. I think Melyssa would be a good addition on that show. But why is she shooting shots in Sade's direction? What the heck is going on behind the scenes? And speaking of behind the scenes, this is clear as day a Michael Scott Ian production. Now, that's your new name to me because you're clearly inspired by The Office, and this is clearly a quasi-scripted show. I told y'all last time I spoke on the BTS that they're going to be doing more scenes outside. That whole scene with Ian and Ish outside was a scripted scene. Believe me if you want to believe me, you don't have to. But they're testing the foray into the scripted television episodal or episodic, however you say that word. They're testing those markets. And what happens when you're able to get the Netflix deals? Because don't get it twisted. Even though Joe's going through his BS right now, he has not forgotten his talk with Vince Staples. Netflix, they just spoke on it on the last part, and I got to get back to doing the science on my end. They just spoke on this Netflix deal that they signed with the NFL, and they got $65 million for 1 day's worth of NFL games on Christmas. It was 2 games for $65 million. Imagine what they would pay for this type of content. It's clear that Netflix is trying to compete with the cable sphere, and Netflix is buying up sports and live sports games and live events and live boxing matches. What happens when I can have a show on here under a contract where I know that they're going to give me 2 to 3 episodes every week? And the only reason I say 3 is because we need content on Netflix that's not leaving. Who's to say that Netflix doesn't jump into the podcast sphere in order to get content on their page? Well, not page, but on their app. Because Netflix is a conglomerate. So every time Joe brings up business and he gets deep, quote unquote, into it, I'm paying attention to it. There might be something there. Vince is already showing them that there's a bag at Netflix. So let me get some scripted television. Let me get some podcasts that you already know is popping. Let me get my sports sector. Don't count Netflix out as the person that Joe is looking to go into partnership with. I will say the content is getting much more enjoyable, especially now that we know Joe is going through something. The content is much more enjoyable knowing that he's not going to be there and seeing all the cohesion amongst the other co-hosts. I'm happy that Melyssa and Ish are seemingly on good terms. Damn near great terms again. This is what it was like when they first were on the podcast together. Their cohesion and their chemistry could lead this Joe-less pod a long way. Shout out to Flip re-signing his contract. Nothing but love for you, brother. As long as you can tame down the COE tactics this year, the way you have tamed them down on your channel, if you could transfer that energy to the JBP, you don't really hear any critiques from me. You already know how I feel about you as an A-Mike. You already know how the vast majority of the audience feels about you in general. The mass consensus is we like you, Flip, but a lot of the antics that you bring and employ to the JBP are meant for demographics way younger than ours. We're in a demographic where none of us want to be considered old, but we all enjoy older taste and older things. and for things to not be chaos. So we are an older demographic that still is holding on to our youth. Whether we want to admit to it or not is a totally different story. But we don't need the youth over here trying to get rid of all of the old antics that we've already held on to and we're latching on to. Shoot, I'm about to be 37 and you can't get me away from these YNs quick enough. So if you could leave these YN antics back in 2024, I'm sure everybody will jump back on the flip train. But yeah, if we can continue to get this ish and mail that we've been receiving, if Imani continues to get out of his shell, because I'm starting to have less critiques on Imani, I just want him to stand up for himself. That's the only thing I'm asking for Imani, because I even like how he's been chiming in. As long as Ice continues to be the music guy, we don't want to give him this credit, but every time there's a music topic, especially a deep or a serious release, we anticipate hearing at least from Ice. Not just Ice, but we at least anticipate hearing from Ice because he has a big or deep breakdown. So yes, Ice, we need Ice here too, and his presence was missed last pod. But I'm not mad at the direction of the BTS. I do have a slight complaint at the time duration. I'm the 14 minutes. Can't do that. I'm doing 14 minutes just talking about y'all. Y'all can't give us that long of content. Come on, man. We're anticipating more. And everybody's like, if you don't like what you're paying for, stop paying. Guys, we pay because we enjoy the content. But you got to think about it. I don't even pay $25 for Netflix, and I can get way more content. Their catalog is vastly larger than Joe or what Joe offers on Patreon. So yes, I can complain actually, because I'm paying this one content creator a lot of money as opposed to just for an app. So yes, I'm gonna complain. I'm not mad at those who complain, and I'm also not mad at those who don't complain. But we're gonna voice our opinion. This is expensive content that we're paying for. And I know Joe's trying to offset that. He knows he's not going to rely on us. I can't say can't, but he's not going to rely on us for the duration of him being rich. He's still looking to get that big deal. And Netflix, to me, is starting to make the most sense because of the direction he's going in. And it's all stemming from BTS. If they can get their quasi-scripted series off and it does numbers behind the paywall, who's to say that he doesn't start releasing these episodes on YouTube to see what type of traction it gets on that? And then I got 2, 3, 4 successful shows under my belt. Why wouldn't Netflix want to partner me? You think Joe's not paying attention to them Adam Sandler deals? Them Tyler Perry deals? To these people that have their own production companies? You think he's not paying attention to that? I am. So I'm going to be very curious to see what happens this year, even with the case. Because Patreon supposedly dropped Joe for the last very suspect thing he was accused of, but they're still in business with him. Matter of fact, he was the first person they ever posted on a billboard. So you can't tell me that just because of the situation he's in currently that the wheels just stop moving. No. I'm anticipating something big this year or next year. And now my main culprit isn't Sirius or any other app. It's Netflix. So I don't know why Mel's shooting at Sade. Mel actually is coming off of a successful episode, so I hope she continues in that direction. I don't know why she's shooting at people that ain't shooting at her, but we'll see where this goes, because she didn't say that for nothing. And we'll see how long the chemistry through the I apologize. We'll see how long the chemistry through the podcast co-host continues, because Joe, I don't anticipate him being here regularly for at least a month or so because of what he's going through. So we're gonna see a lot. It's gonna determine in the next 2 or 3 weeks or so what's gonna happen, because if I can trust y'all to contain the ship, then it gives me time to venture out and do other things under the network, under the guise that I'm dealing with court issues. But I appreciate y'all listening to me ramble. Your boy just wanted to get his thoughts off. Sorry for posting a little bit later than usual, but your boy had a game today and we actually won by 12 points. Might have to record that, let y'all know I'm still out here getting to it. But until tomorrow, y'all be safe out here. And if you contemplating dropping content, stop contemplating and just do it, baby. There's people ready to watch. There's an audience out there waiting to latch on to your content, but you got to post it first. Until tomorrow, though, y'all be safe. Peace.